it's too late. Maybe it's too late. Maybe it's too late. Maybe it's too late.
I'm so tired of these late night talks, saying things that we don't mean, that we regret in the morning. Yeah, I just wish we could open up, be a little more honest. This is getting exhausting. Yeah, can't do one more night of having to sleep on the sofa. I just wanna figure it out now before it's over. I don't wanna pack my things and be ready to let you go, to let you go. But maybe it's too late to figure it out, to make it through. Maybe it can't wait, maybe this time, maybe we're doomed. I try to pull you closer, 'cause I don't wanna go yet. But maybe it's too late to figure it out, to make it through. Maybe it's too late. Maybe it's too late. Try to pull you closer, 'cause I don't wanna go yet. But maybe it's too late to figure it out, to make it through. I don't know why it's so damn hard being there for each other and showing you my true colors. Yeah, I don't know why it's difficult. I'm trying to make amends, but it doesn't seem to help. No, can't do one more night of having to sleep on the sofa. I just wanna figure it out now before it's over. I don't wanna pack my things and be ready to let you go, to let you go. But maybe it's too late to figure it out, to make it through. Maybe it can't wait, maybe this time, maybe we're doomed. I try to pull you closer, 'cause I don't wanna go yet. But maybe it's too late to figure it out, to make it through. Maybe it's too late. Maybe it's too late. Try to pull you closer, 'cause I don't wanna go yet. But maybe it's too late to figure it out, to make it through. Can't do one more night of having to sleep on the sofa. I just wanna figure it out now before it's over. I don't wanna pack my things and be ready to let you go, to let you go. But maybe it's too late to figure it out, to make it through. Maybe it can't wait, maybe it's time, maybe we're doomed. Try to pull you closer, 'cause I don't wanna go yet. But maybe it's too late to figure it out, to make it through. Maybe it's too late. Maybe it's too late. Try to pull you closer, 'cause I don't wanna go yet. But maybe it's too late to figure it out, to make it through. Maybe it's too late. Maybe it's too late. Maybe it's too late. Maybe it's too late.
some fun. I'm so tired of living life in gray, babe. And you deserve to see the world from the other. So tell me, baby, where would you like to go? Maybe we'll drive from coast to coast, only to where we love the most. I'm taking you to paradise, paradise. You know where we're going tonight, going tonight. Paradise, paradise. I'm taking you to paradise, paradise. I don't even care about the price, care about the price, yeah. Paradise, paradise. I'm taking you. Come and take a seat next to me, babe. Let this pretty view take your breath away. Baby, we deserve a break from our old ways. Anywhere's home when you're with me. Come and take a seat next to me, babe. Let this pretty view take your breath away. Baby, we deserve a break from our old ways. Cause I'm taking you to paradise, paradise. You know where we're going tonight, going tonight. Paradise, paradise. I'm taking you to paradise, paradise. I don't even care about the price, care about the price, yeah. Paradise, paradise. I'm taking you, paradise.
I have lost my way in the city, and I feel alone when you're with me. I look for places where I can't hide. I guess I've been searching for places, some familiar faces. I think I just need a little light. I've been trying to fake it. I have said I can take it, but I think you should let me go. Cause I need some time. Cause it has been too long since I got any sleep. Yeah, it's been a while since I've gotten some time just for me. Yeah, I need some time. I think I just wanna feel like home, but these days I just feel long gone, and I don't know how to make it right. I've been trying to fake it. I have said I can take it, but I think you should let me go. Cause I need some time. Cause it has been too long since I got any sleep. Yeah, it's been a while since I've gotten some time just for me. Yeah, I need some time. Sometime 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 I need some time. Cause I need some time. Cause it has been too long since I got any sleep. Yeah, it's been a while since I've gotten some time just for me. Yeah, I need some time. Sometime I need some time. 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 I need some time.
You're kissing my neck and grabbing my leg, pushing me backwards into your bed. Baby, you
another bottle of this wine, I'll be up in your space. Love and affection, ain't got nothing on me. No, that's not what I need. Maybe on another day, I'd encourage you to make me stay. But baby, I'm just trying to numb my brain and wrap my head around this whole thing. When you're kissing my neck and grabbing my leg, pushing me backwards into your bed. Baby, you are all I need, but I don't wanna dive too deep. So I pick up my clothes and be on my way. Leave you a note saying I can't stay. Baby, you are all I need, but I don't wanna dive too deep, too deep. I think I learned my lesson. You can love somebody else until you're loving yourself. I need some direction before we dive into these sheets. Maybe on another day, I'd encourage you to make me stay. But baby, I'm just trying to numb my brain and wrap my head around this whole thing. When you're kissing my neck and grabbing my leg, pushing me backwards into your bed. Baby, you are all I need, but I don't wanna dive too deep. So I pick up my clothes and be on my way. Leave you a note saying I can't stay. Baby, you are.
Oh yeah, mic check 1 2. Levels look good. Everybody's familiar with this song, right?
Yes. I cannot say what's wrong or right. No. It's not hard to fool.
Countdown, 2 minutes.
No. 'Cause I'm addicted to the good life. Yes. Yeah. Lead the way. I follow. No need to say. Where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all. To the edge of it all. So tell you good night. 'Cause I'll buy no matter what. Yeah. Susceptible now. Before the moment flies. Ooh, so tell you good night. 'Cause I'll buy no matter what. Ooh, susceptible now. Before the moment flies. It's not a problem. No. 'Cause I know what I'm getting into. Yes. Yeah. And nothing can stop me. No. 'Cause I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way.
Michael Brown, what up?
I follow.
Practical
No
Absolute,
need
what
to
up?
say.
Hey Bethany, good to have you here,
Where
love.
we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all.
You know that song, huh, Bethany?
So tell you good night. 'Cause I'll buy no matter what. Yeah. Susceptible now.
Discussions.
Before the moment flies. Before it flies. So tell you good night. 'Cause I'll buy no matter what. Susceptible now. Before the moment flies.
That's right. He would say boppity boppity bop. What's up, y'all? Welcome, students. Welcome to class. You've now entered the main lecture hall, and in the Department of Hard Knocks at the University of Shannon. Rawls, please have a seat, take out a pen and paper. Prepare to take notes. There's a lot to learn tonight. It's always a lot to learn at husband school and wife school. My name is Professor Shannon, and I'd like to introduce to you guys my esteemed colleagues of the night. Everybody, give a warm round of applause. Where's my sounds at? Professor Cassius, Professor Carl, Professor D. Woods. Good to have you brothers here, man. What's happening?
What's happening?
It's a good night, man. It's a good night.
Episode 1. So we're here for episode 1 of Husband School. And people have been asking me, so the first announcement I made, guys, was wife school, right? Because, one of the biggest arguments is everybody, I've been married twice. It's no secret. I've been married twice. A lot of people say, women, man. I hear from the guys because, I'm an advocate for men, and so I talk to men more often than not. What up, Eric? It's good to have you here, bro. And congratulations, Bethany. What up, Sheed? My man Sheed here. A lot of guys be like, yo, man, women, they want to be married, man. They don't want to be wives. So I started wife school. And I have a great panel of women that give perspectives and ideas and thoughts on what it takes to be a wife and not just a married woman. What in America, I think it's at 53% divorce rate. That's 50%. You got a 50-50 chance of staying married. In the black community, it's 60%. And then, one of the biggest arguments that men say is it's women that's running to the divorce courts. It's, 8 out of 10 women. If it's a room full of 10 married women, 8 of them, a room full of 10 married people, 8 of them is going to be the woman running to the divorce court for whatever reason. But on the flip side, when I made that announcement, what I heard back from a lot of women is, are you going to do husband school? What about husband school? Yeah, I always planned to do husband school. Yes, of course. Because the young men need some guidance too. And so I've got you guys together. You really smart brothers that I've met. I've introduced myself to them, met most of them. I've known Carl. Damn, Carl, I've known you. Has it been 20 years yet?
At least 20, yeah. 20,
something like 20. Carl is we're out here in Los Angeles, and I'm a film producer. Carl is a film producer, writer, director, and actor. I'm just one of the 4. Carl's all 4. And we met way back in like 2003 or something like that, working on a project.
Through Michael Jacquet.
Was it Michael Jacquet, or was it even before that with Tony Bracy?
Well, to me, they're interchangeable because they were kind of in the same.
Yeah, one and the same, right? And then I got my brother Cassius. That's everybody knows him on Clubhouse, and D Woods. Everybody knows him on Clubhouse and television. And so these brothers got really great perspectives. I got more people for you guys, but because today is the first episode, it's always a rocky start on the first one. You should have seen the first wife school. It was a hot mess, but we got it. It's like taking off in an airplane, man. It's that when you taxi in the runway and you get up and you hit that turbulence, but as soon as you get smooth sailing, it's everything is cool, and that's what's gonna happen here. So we have more people that's coming to the show. Some people had got called to work. Other people had to get things ready. Other people are out filming. But we're going to have a full panel here of 6 brothers and 2 women. But tonight we're going to start off with these good brothers, and we're going to start with the first questions. And then we're going to help everybody out. Everybody that's interested in being brothers. Listen, men, I'm talking to you. Fellas, young and old, particularly young. But I'm talking to you hard-headed old brothers too. I'm 50 years old, right? So you can consider me an OG. Right? I say if you're over 40, you a big OG. If you're 30 to 40, you a little OG. And then if you're 30 and younger, if you're 20, anything and younger, you a youngster. So I could be considered an OG. I've been around the ballpark a little bit, right? I've traveled the world, done a few things. I've been married twice divorced, and I got some game. And the whole purpose of this show is to give it to those that need it. And I got these good brothers together. I appreciate you guys being here. Professor Cassius, give him a little explanation. Who are you? Where you from? What you do? Tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started. This is the first show. Only time we got to do this.
Yeah, so I'm in Texas, born and raised mostly in the Fort Worth area. Come from very humble beginnings, several siblings in a one bedroom apartment, things of that nature. I was fortunate enough to go to college, ended up graduating, got into corporate America, and have been climbing the ladder as best I can, trying to, get as far up and inside as I can to be able to open up the door for other, younger minorities to get in and do their thing as well. So that's where most of my work is. I work for one of the largest tech companies in the world and leadership there. So any young man that is trying to find their way in corporate America and may need a little help with maybe resumes or even just prepping for interviews, hit my Instagram. It's Cassius is the name. And I'll do my damnedest to help you kind of polish up so that when you have that opportunity, you can get up there and knock it out the park. So that's a little short intro.
That's what's up, man. Carl, give us a little background. Give us a quick synopsis.
Quick synopsis. Well, I'm in my 60s, so that's a lot of years. Born in Chicago, went to high school and college in Michigan State. Detroit was went to high school, and have worked for several corporate companies and ended up working as an actor. Started about 30 years ago, done about 100 and plus television shows, films, and now I'm producing my own show called 2 Degrees, and my wife, Latanya. This is my third marriage, twice married, twice divorced, but very happily married this third time. And I've got some perspective on this area, so I'm glad that you had me come in, my brother. And moving to Atlanta. I live in LA right now. Moving to Atlanta next week.
Word.
Yeah. So welcome that's why I'm kind of, you see boxes behind me, you see a bunch of stuff and confusion. That's because I'm moving.
Carl, you packing up and you leaving LA?
Hey man, 37 years in LA, I'm leaving, going to Atlanta. Yeah.
What?
Some big opportunities out there for me, man. I'm telling you, things are going really well. I just want to be able to expand that to another part of the country. I'm 64, man. Which is wild because I'm 64 and starting over again. So if I can do that, anybody can, right?
That's right. If I can do it, you can do it. Moving to ATL. I was just in the ATL. We had the Lapeef Network. I work with JR and Anton over there, and we had a Atlanta meetup on August 8th. And we hung out there for the weekend. We did a couple live stream shows over there for YouTube. It was great. Only thing I don't like about Atlanta though is, man, Carl, that weather. It's hot. You're gonna have to take. It's not as bad as Florida, but brother, you're gonna have to take 3 showers a day when it get humid out there. There's lightning is in the sky in the middle of the day, and the rain is hot.
Yeah. It's definitely It took a little bit to get my wife to leave this weather, but the opportunities there for us are really, really good. So we're gonna go ahead and make it happen.
That's what's up, man. Mm-hmm. What's up, Professor D. Woods? Let them know a little bit about yourself, man.
What's going on, man? First, man, thanks for putting this together. I want to give a shout out to Princessa in the comments, making sure she's taking care of everybody. And I'm happy to be here. My name is D. Woods. You can find me on Instagram, dwoods.advisor. I'm a Howard graduate. I've been in banking and finance for over 13 years. And while I was in banking and finance, I learned a little bit more about relationships. I started to actually apply them to my personal life and started to have some great success. Right now, let's talk about our husband school. I actually avoided that divorce. So I was previously engaged. I got to literally 2 weeks before the wedding and was like, time out. So I was the running groom, so to speak. So I'm really happy to join this conversation. And now 2 months away from my first wedding, last wedding, I am super excited to be here so we could do our thing and chime in and get these brothers together. So
that's right. D. Woods, when did you go to Howard? When did you graduate from Howard? Can I ask that?
I graduated in the early 2000s.
Oh, because my daughter went there. I just wondered if you were there with her. She came out in 2009.
Who knows?
Yeah. She came out in 2009, though. That's not really, if you came out in early 2000, you might have preceded her.
I might know it. Yeah. We'll see. We'll have to talk on the back.
Okay, cool.
All right, most definitely.
All right. So the way the format goes, everybody, is we're going to ask one main question. And week after week, we're going to meet back up here Tuesday. Right now, it's currently set for Tuesdays, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, for 1 hour. And we're going to have one main pressing question that a lot of brothers probably need answers to. All right. And then we're going to get everybody's perspective and want to know how anybody could mitigate. What we want to do is we want to mitigate divorce, right? For me, Everybody knows I've taken the red pill, right? I'm all about the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But the ultimate goal is marriage. I know how important marriage is. I know how important it is for our community, and relationships is what it's about. That's what life is about. Like if not relationships, then what, right? And so we're here to answer as many questions week after week that brothers have. Even if you guys email me and send them in, we'll consider them. We have a back channel. We talk about different things throughout the week, and then we'll meet back here on Tuesday. But for today, ladies and gentlemen, here's the main question for the brothers, and let's talk about this real quick. There's an argument that women have about how old men should be when they get married. When I was young, I was told to get married as soon as possible. Today, people in the black community especially is getting married later and later and later. There's an argument between when women should get married versus when men should get married. Who's ready? Who matures faster? When does the frontal lobe develop? All these different topics. I'd like to hear from you different brothers in your experience, and talk to the audience. Give these guys some game. How old do you believe that men should be before they seriously start dating with a marriage mindset? It's popcorn style. Anybody can go.
Man, I love this when I hop into it. So the question is how old, but the question it should not be that. It should be when is he ready, right? We know this as a dating coach. I will talk to guys in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, even in their 60s that are still not ready to get married. So it's not a magical bullet. You got to do some research. You got to find out the right questions to ask that guy. And that's how you're going to win. But if you're looking for age, you might be looking for disaster. That's my initial thoughts on this one.
Yeah, when I saw this question, I thought to myself, that is so relative to the... Oh, what's that?
That was a super chat. We got a super chat from MC Recovery Wellness and Relapse. He blessed the channel with $5. Shout out to you, to MC Recovery. Go ahead, Professor Carl.
Yeah, I think that every man is different. You mentioned it earlier. I have friends in their 50s who will maybe never be ready. Okay. And then the men, if you could be in your 20s, you could be in 21, 22 years old, but be really sure about who you are as a man and where you're going in your life. The whole thing about marriage is important. It's about purpose. So I do believe that the man should bring that purpose and make it present in front of any woman he's dating. And then if he's deciding, and I think it'd be as a front of mind to know that he wants to be a husband, he knows he is a husband already before he meets the woman he's going to marry, then that becomes literally, that drives the whole thing, even when he's dating, because now you're dating with a purpose to be married, which some guys aren't. They're dating because they want to have a good time. There's nothing wrong with that. But with regard to your question, it really spans the gamut. It really does. A lot of men aren't marriage-minded, and I think that this particular dialogue will help men understand what that means. And for me, it's driven by purpose and who you are as a man, and finding that woman who really joins together in that purpose and gets it from her heart to yours, soulfully, so to speak. And that's not you got to convince her of anything. She just connects to you and what you're doing, so in love with, the other thing too, I put a post up in one of my portals the other day about this Jewish guy was talking about how men should be in love with marriage as opposed to in love with a woman. And I've been criticized. Well, what he means by that is being marriage-minded means in love with what the covenant is, as opposed to the woman. Sometimes women will meet a man and he will say, "Oh, I'm not ready to get married yet." And then she will spend time trying to convince him to be ready to get married until he breaks down. Well, he should already have a marriage mindset and saying that I want to be married and purpose to meet the woman who connects to his lifestyle and his life purpose, no matter where he is in his life. And if you have a marriage mindset like that, you are not going to be prone to want to leave when things go south, because you're dedicated to the covenant as opposed to the person or the circumstances that come down when marriage happens, if that makes sense.
Okay. This
old Jewish guy was talking about it, and it was really cool. Saw my twice married brother portal on Instagram. Old dude, big beard, he's old, and it's very old school and very anti-2022, Shannon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cassius, what you think?
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to answer it in the way that it was asked in an age, and I'll speak anecdotally for myself. Like, I had no desire in my 20s to ever get married. I was the bona fide bachelor, right? I had no intentions of getting into a serious relationship, and so I would argue that, you know, it's one thing to know your purpose. I think it's another thing to understand how that manifests in real life. And I think for men, it takes us to have some lived experiences, some failures, some wins, some bounce backs, some restarting, if you will. Some of the people on the call has mentioned they've had to start over, or they're in the process of starting over again. And to me, I think that part, that having, you know, a decade or 12 or 13 years of life experience of you trying to wrestle what you see in your mind and how that really manifests in the world, I think it's kind of like, I know this old adage is that it gets better with time, like that wine. So I think as you get a little bit older as a man, I think you start to understand the world a little bit better and how that manifests for you as a man, right? What does it look like for me to show up as a man at 32 years old versus 22? You're probably going to get two totally different perspectives of that man, of what it is to be a man at 22 versus 32. So I would say that for me, if I'm talking to like my son or some youngsters, I say, man, you got all the time in the world to be married. And if you really want to do it right, you don't have to rush to it. Like, you got the rest of your life to live it. So I would say spend your 20s trying to experience life and hone in what it means to be a man in this world for yourself. So that way, when you get in your 30s and you start to seriously date for a relationship / marriage, you've already kind of had some rocky parts of a life or rocky parts of your world experience, so that you can move forward with a woman and say, hey, I have enough life experience here. I have enough battle testedness here. If our family hits a heart in a rock spot, you can trust and lean on me that I'm going to figure it out, because I've already kind of have some of those lived experiences. So I would say somewhere in your 30s. Now, some men can be on the earlier side at 30 because they mature faster. Some, like to Carl's point, he knows some partners of his that are 50 and probably won't never be ready, right? I know there's some of that it may change on the man. But most of the fellas I know that got married in their 30s are having some really successful relationships. So I would say somewhere in your 30s. Just to put a number on it.
No, that's cool. Oh, hold on, Letitia's texting me right now. Let's see if she's gonna pull it. She can pull up if she wants. So look, I'm gonna just answer it like this. Social media ruined everything. It is. Instagram fucked it all up, right? Facebook fucked it up, right? But here's the thing. In my opinion, in some ways for the better, right? Finances and money and business has always been globalized. And, and now due to the internet, it's been globalized for people that didn't have access to worldwide finances and business and money. Well, the thing is, now dating is globalized. So back in the day, you had a girl on campus. I graduated college in 2000. I went to Cal State Long Beach. That's where I pledged my frat. Shout out to the Alphas. Shout out to the Alphas. 1906 in the house. To all the noobs in the house. Shout out. But listen, back in the day, you had the girl. She dated on campus, and all she had was the guys that was around her. That's all she was able to choose. She was only able to choose from the guys that was on her campus, that was in the dormitories, that was at the party, that was in town. And typically they found somebody that they kind of liked. They typically fell in love with them people, and they kind of wrote it out, right? But today, every chick from every campus, you get to know everything about her, because she has literally a portfolio available for everybody to read on the internet. Now, when you think about dating apps, right? And this is the good part or the bad part, depending on how you look at it. When you look at dating apps, shout out to Kevin Robinson. Everybody throw your ones up.
Being number one isn't easy.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate you for the super chat, for the $5 super chat. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. 35. Oh, Kevin says 35 is the best age. Kevin says 35 is the best age for any business owner. You've gotten all your player phase out, and you should be ready to level up with just one. You know what? Let me give a shout out to MC Recovery Wellness. Also, he said, "What's up, Shannon and Carl and MC in the house? Your NAACP and Pan African Arts and Film Festival closing day photographer." Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. So listen. So now you got the girl. Now in modern times with social media, you got a girl, right? She meets this 25-year-old guy.
Welcome to the real world.
He likes her and he says, "You know what? Let's chill in my dorm room." You know? Oh, Letitia's here. Hold on, let me pull her in. Hold on, Tish. Let me get you in here. Let's switch over to... Hey, Tish.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
Good to have you here. So,
Sorry,
Tish, what? Hold on, guys. Let me add this question here. Okay, so this is the question that we're asking. How old should men be before they seriously start dating? You probably missed the other brother, so I'm answering a little bit of it myself, Tish. So now you got the girl. So back in the day, girls on campus or you dated in your neighborhood. You dated who you were around. Who you had access to. There was nobody long distance, but today with internet, with social media and Instagram and dating apps, everything is globalized, right? So now you got this young girl, she finds this 24-year-old guy and he's like, "Yo, let's chill, in my dorm room and go to In-N-Out Burger and get something to eat," right? But she swipes right on him because she likes him. He's cute. She thinks he's cute. But then she also has access to this 35-year-old guy. He's 35 years. He's 10 years the senior of the guy that wants to chill. And she likes what he's talking about because he's saying, "Hey, let's chill in my condo. I'm downtown. I got a condo on the 14th floor off of Main Street, right above the finance district, and I'll pick you up in my Benz and let's chill." Now, she has to pick between these two. One, she can hang out with because he's cute. Two, she can hang out one because he can provide. And so women have these options today that they didn't like. She likes the one that looks better, but then she likes the one that's stronger and has, more sensibility to what her natural hypergamy is looking for. And so when you ask me, especially in context of husband, long-term relationships, which one would I rather date the girl? I would say the older guy, because I believe in hypergamy. I believe that women should look for men that fit the 4 Ps, provide, protect, problem solve, and procreate. I don't think, and I'm gonna give you guys a hard number, I don't think anybody in their 20s should be thinking about marriage. Any man. I don't think any man in their 20s should be even thinking about marriage. Hold on, let me throw your names up on the screen because we switched over to this one. I don't think any man in his 20s should be thinking about marriage because he has too much to get together. There's too many things that fell apart for me in my marriage that I wasn't prepared for because I was in love and I figured it'd come. I thought, Carl, I was making movies back in the day. I'm thinking that production is just gonna flow in and Sony Picture Studios is gonna pick up my scripts, and I thought Universal was gonna be knocking on my door and Paramount Studios was gonna give me an office right there on the lot. I thought it was all gonna just land in my lap, and it didn't work out that way. I remember having an argument one time because I had got my first wife, an Acura, and she wanted a Benz, and I'm looking like, God damn, what am I supposed to do? I couldn't get a Benz at the time. Now, what she was doing was she was comparing me to her dad, who was buying a Benz for her mom, And so, yeah, her dad can do that, but he's already in his financial stride. I wasn't in my financial stride. So when you got a 24, 23, 21-year-old kid, and I know for the parents of daughters, you typically want your daughter to marry or be with or date somebody that's around her age. But in my opinion, if you're looking for her to have long-term success in life, do you want to put her into struggle mode with somebody that they're going to be out there and he's not necessarily prepared to be able to take care of her the way that she particularly needs to be? I just don't think that it's there based on the economy and the way the United States and, at least in the Western world runs right now. A guy that does not have his shit together is not going to be a great husband. All he's going to do is add stress and strife. And if you look at the numbers, because I'm a numbers guy, The highest divorce rates, ironically, I don't know why they polled them at 14. Maybe there's some states that but 14 to 24 is the highest divorce rate. I think it's like 19 out of 1,000. And then the next one is 24 to 29. I think it's like 17. And then it gets lower from there. So the people that's getting the most divorces are the ones that's young, getting married because they're in love. And what was it Retha that said, what's love got to do with it? I forget who it was. But what's love got to do with it? So if you ask me, anybody in their 20s should not be seriously dating for marriage. Any man, and that's a different question for women, right? That's a topic for wife school. But here at husband school, a young man seriously falling in love and having the butterflies and wants to get married and married his high school sweetheart and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it sometimes works out, but what are we going by, possibility or are we going by probability? So I hear what you're saying, Carl, and I hear what you're saying, D Woods, when you guys say, it kind of depends on the guy, but I don't mind generalizing. Generally speaking, no, wait till you get older, fellas. I don't want anybody young even thinking about that, because you got too much shit to get together before you can be a solid husband and be able to take care of your wife, your children, your white picket fence, your house, your car, and all the other things that's necessary.
When you speak about the general conversation we're having here, right, it's totally appropriate to make generalizations like that, because you do have statistics to back that up. But I think from my perspective, having been married twice, I've been married a total of 33 years to 3 women. All right, my current wife is 8 years, almost 8 years. First marriage was 14 years, second marriage was 11. I've learned a few things, and that's why the Jewish cat that I put on my site really hit me, because I do believe that our culture over-romanticizes marriage, meaning that a lot of emphasis is placed on love and feelings and butterflies and all these hyper idealistic ideas that marriage is not about. I mean, if there's anything that I've learned, I would say it's that. Marriage is purposeful, it's commitment, it's a covenant. It's got almost nothing to do with what we mostly talk about. Now, when marriages last, people I've talked about who have been successfully married, they understand what I'm saying. When you have a hyper emotional, marriages, money's up, money's down, I don't feel this way today, or over a period of time I feel bad, or I don't like the person, they get divorced. Those people are the ones who get divorced. But the people who stay married and are purposed to stay together because of the covenant they promised before God to do, those are the ones that stay married. Almost every time that seems to be the answer. So obviously there are, extenuating circumstances, abuse and total dereliction, cheating all the time. And there's a lot of reasons why you might see things happen. But most of the time I see divorces don't happen for those extreme reasons. They happen for something like money, I'm not in love anymore, we grew apart, all these things that marriage has nothing to do with, even though we make it about those things. Obviously, we frame it that way and people tend to treat it that way, and then it doesn't last. But marriage at its core is not that, and that's what I would say. And in terms of the man, I think with me, why I'm so successfully married right now, could be because I'm an old dude, but also it's because I know what I'm doing with my life. And my wife just dovetailed right into it. And I would not have, if she had said to me, oh, I don't like that you're an actor, I don't like that you're in the business, I would have said, girl, bye. I'd have been cool. But she just dovetailed right into what I'm doing. She is like the perfect partner for me. And marriage at its core, when we look at it from a biblical perspective, which that is my worldview, is help me. Now, a lot of women push back on that. Okay? But for me, if you can't help me be better at what I do and who I am and make me better, I have no reason for you to be in my life. And most men really at their core, whether they admit that or not, see it that way. So you have to connect to that. And it doesn't mean that women can't do what they're doing. They can't purpose and be great and have their careers. Of course they can. But with me, every woman I've been married to, who I loved, I would help them move anything to be what they want. With starting a business, writing a book, I'm going to be there to help them do that and be a part and support them and lift them up. But for me, as men, we have to have our purpose and our helpmeet there. That's why they're there, to me, at their core. And when it comes to the question, if a man is 27 years old, I had to talk with my son about this just like yesterday. If a man is 27 years old and he knows what he's doing, he ain't got a dime in his pocket, but he knows what he's doing and he's good at it. And he meets someone who gets that and sees the brilliance of what he's doing and connects to that, they're gonna be millionaires in 5 years. The money comes. Somehow we're missing that point. That's what I was saying.
So if I can jump in real quick. One of the things that y'all touched
Sorry
on.
for that rant.
One of the things that y'all touched on that I think is key, and I say this often when I'm having these conversations, this idea of marrying for love. It's really a tricky concept because us as humans often associate the strongest feeling we've ever felt as love. And I'll give y'all a quick example here. Y'all play with me. Let's just say on a scale from 0 to 100, you don't actually reach love until you get to 100. But when you're in high school, work with me now. Your first experience with emotion may be on that scale of 13. And you're talking about, I love you, I love you, I love you, because that's the strongest feeling you've ever felt to date. But let's say that doesn't work out and you go to college and you meet a new babe or new partner. And then on that scale from 0 to 100, you're maybe at a 36. Oh, this has got to be love. This is way stronger than what I felt in high school. This is for sure love. But it's not, because you haven't reached 100 yet. Let's say you're in your 20s, post-college, late 20s, and you meet another person and you think that's love and it feels like a 68, right? Y'all get where I'm going with this. All these situations weren't really love, but it was the strongest feeling that you felt to date. So you just didn't know how else to describe it but love, right? In reality, you hadn't quite yet got there. So I agree with you all. This idea of marrying for love sometimes is like a faux foundation that really isn't sustainable, because often as you grow, you'll start to realize that even if you really were in love, that ain't enough to sustain a relationship. It's got to be something else. It's got to be a whole lot more than this concept of love, even if you actually did reach that pinnacle of 100. But I think most of us will look back at most of our past relationships when we get into a new situation and really, really feel good about it. We'll say, oh, this is way better than that. So this has got to be love. What I thought I was in previously that wasn't love. That had to have been something else, maybe infatuation, affinity, or otherwise, right? So that's why I align with you all in the sense of when I was talking earlier about men, more specifically men, having to have some life experiences, having that decade or two to kind of grow into what man looks like in your head versus how that can manifest in the world. I think it will save us from, to y'all's point, at that 22-year-old, you thought it was love. And then after you're in that relationship for a year and a half, you realize, well, maybe this ain't love. And then you're like, well, I don't like the way he sleep at night. The way he roll over get on my nerves. I don't like the way he chew chicken no more, right? And so all these other things that don't really matter anymore start superseding this concept that you thought was originally love, right? So I agree that the idea of marrying for love it sets us up for failure, especially if the other parts, like support, like helpmate. To my point, my fiance, I say this all the time, and I've mentioned it to her, she has made me a better man in the time of us dating. And I think that was a huge part of why I moved towards say, hey, yeah, you know what? You have challenged me and made me a better man. In a year and a half, I can't imagine how much better of a man you would have made me 10 years from now, 12 years now. But not only that, guess who benefits from that? Our children, right? Because now we have more resources. We have a more stable life. We have a lot more reach, if you will, right? And we can turn around and start helping family members of ours. Like I mentioned, we both come from, I do, but she also too comes from very humble beginning. So if we get this thing right, and then we actually both reach our heights and both make each other better, who all benefits from that? All of the generations that come behind us. So I agree with what Carl was talking about in regards to this helpmate. I can assure you right now, if she did not challenge me and push me and make me better, we wouldn't be where we are. So I agree with you, Carl, on that. And I just wanted to put something out there with this idea of love, because I think sometimes we do ourselves a disservice automatically assuming the strongest thing we've ever felt is love, when in reality it may not be. It may be a far away from the idea of really what love is. So I'll yield there and pass it back to y'all.
Well, I want to hear what Professor Letitia has to say, but before we go to her, Carl, the thing is, what you identified in LaTanya, your wife, would you have identified that if you were 24 instead of 64?
I think it to the point I was making about purpose is, I don't think I would have, to be honest with you. But that doesn't mean that another man who's 24 would not have.
Yeah, but everybody that's 24 is gonna think they know what they talking about. Listen, when I was 16, you couldn't tell me shit. I knew what the hell was. I knew everything about life at 16. I got my driver's license.
I know
that
people
year.
who are.
I was good.
20s.
It was 1988, man. I was good. You couldn't tell me nothing. Then when I turned 20, I was like, oh, I know what the fuck I was talking about at 16. But 20, I know it now. I know what I'm talking about now.
That's the same thing with love.
I know what I'm doing. I was in the army. I was a soldier. I knew how to fight. I went. But then when I turned 25, I was like, damn, when I was 20, I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. And then when I was 30, I said 25, I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I knew, but I didn't know until I turned 35 and said I was still stupid at 30. And
Which
then
exactly
it wasn't until I turned 40 years old that I said, you know what, I'm going to stop saying I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Because every time I thought I knew something, life smacks my ass and taught me something new. So my thing is, Carl,
perpetual, though.
Don't you
Shannon,
think that maybe... Don't you think that maybe all the young guys think that they know what they're doing?
Okay, but what I'm saying is, to the point you're making about the progression of knowledge, how we gain knowledge and how we absorb and utilize it is still relative, and it's perpetual on through until we die. So what you're saying, you're making a good point, but that doesn't mean that a person that's 25 can't have the clarity and the purpose to know what he wants to do and be able to commit to that. Everybody's different, but you're making a relevant point, but I do think that there are people who are very clear at different stages of their life. With me, and I guess with you as well, I agree. When I was 24, 25 years old, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew who I was, but I wasn't clear and I was wobbly. In fact, I was influenced by women who didn't necessarily see it. And they would say things like, oh, you should be doing this. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should. No, that's the key to say, you know what? I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not going to deal with you anymore. Have a nice day. Let's go get a bag of potato chips and the french fries. Maybe go kiss a little bit. And you got to be gone. That's the thing. I would choose women where I was like, oh, okay, I like the way you look. I like the way you kiss. You make me feel good. And I'm trying to morph into what she's doing. No. Right. And I think you may have done the same thing, right? So I think that some men, when they're in their 20s, they know who they are, and they see a woman come and say, I want you to do something else. They're saying, I'm not doing that. Goodbye. I didn't have the wherewithal in the front of mind to do that. But I think to your point, it does take years to get there. But some men maybe not. Some men they know it and they meet the right person and they stay married forever and they build empires.
Hey,
generational wealth.
Would you say the men in the 20s that actually do have that heightened sense of maturity, of forwardness, is a more of an exception to the rule or more of the rule?
I would say exception. I'd agree.
Right.
Agreed.
And I think that's kind of where I'm aligned. There are those out there, and we don't want to completely just
especially in black
forget
households.
about those. But banking on that, I think, is probably going to be more problematic long term, because I think that's more of an exception to the rule.
Yeah, it's always a Doogie Howser in every high school. We got a scholar in every high school, but the majority of them knuckleheads on the yard is Professor Letitia. The young men is listening. What do you think is a good age that men should start seriously dating with marriage on their mind?
Okay, so I am the lone wolf on the panel because I think they should start in their teen years. And this is why I say in their teens. I think they should start high school age. They should start dating seriously for marriage then. Wow. 2 reasons. All the couples that I know that were dating in high school and went on to get married at some point are still together. The couples who have found their significant others later, like in their 20s and 30s and stuff, divorced. But another reason is that when I hear, because I'm in the business of listening to men and hearing what they desire, right? All of the qualities that you guys are looking for, the traits that you're looking for in a wife, the longer a woman is on the dating market, the less she's gonna get further from that. The more women are on the dating market, they tend to become more worldly, more experiences. They become more independent. Their thought process is different. It's not about aligning with a man for marriage. It's about self.
Right.
So this idea of waiting till you get older to get married, and then you have all of these women who don't fit the criteria. Whereas when I ask men, at what age did you ever meet such a woman? Yes. Well, what age were you? Typically, they were in high school or they were like late teens, early college years. And I'm like, well, why didn't you go the distance with her? Well, I wasn't ready to settle down. I wasn't looking to get married. So imagine if all of these men would have married that young lady who could have grown with him. She could have learned who she was through her marriage, because that's not a bad thing. Learning who you are through your marriage, grown with that man, helped him succeed in life, helped him to become financially sound, solvent. Um, it would have been a better ideal situation than waiting until you're established at 35, 45, because now you have all these women who have all of this experience with different men, and being in having to deal with all these different men shapes her mentality and her mindset and her thought process. So she's less trusting, she's less agreeable, has uh less soft skills. Essentially, she's not going to be very kind because she's distrustful and mistrustful of men.
Right.
So whereas in high school, that was probably her first and only experience, and it's the likelihood of her growing, getting older, and wanting something that she's never had is not high. She's usually the women who I know married their high school boyfriends, their high school sweethearts. They've never had this thought process of there's other men out there. He was the only one. He's been the only one. So these are people who are well into their 40s now, and they're still together. So if men want men with these traits, these qualities, and women to grow with them, I think they should be looking for their wives in high school.
But here's the thing, Letitia, make no mistake. My standards for women are different than men. I agree. See, my question is, how old should men be? Women, I think, should be a lot younger. I believe in age gap dating. So my question to you is, do you believe, now I hear what you're saying, women are going to be more disagreeable. That's why they should be younger. That's a different argument for a different day. My thing is, Letitia, if you believe that these young men should be marriage minded in their teens, 18, 19, early 20s, do you think that he's going to be prepared to be the husband that he needs to be for longevity? I know some of them got through it. Some in our, listen, I'm Generation X. I'm born in 72. I know times is different. But do you think that the men young in 2022 will be the men that they need to carry a family the way they need to, Letitia?
No, because they weren't raised to be, right? So I can see it realistically and logically and say, well, they weren't raised to be husbands. So no, but ideally, it would be that yes, they get married when they're they date and look for their wives when they're teenagers, because this generation, younger millennials and Gen Z especially, are looking to date closer in their age group. They're not looking to date this age gap dating thing. The trends are showing that is getting further. Women are getting further and further from that. Men are getting further and further from that. It's men. The reason why age gap dating works is because men are waiting until older to get married. But even still, you still have these women in their early 20s, mid 20s, who still don't have the qualities that they're looking for. So it doesn't even matter if he's older.
You said it's a bad deal either way for women.
I just think that my daughter, she's 21, she's turning 22. She's engaged. They're getting married in December.
How old is her fiance?
He's 22. He'll be 23 this year. The thing is that she has me to help guide her through this, because like I've guided her through the relationship into the engagement, because yes, my marriage didn't work. I got married at 20 and I was divorced by the time I was 31 years old.
Which is common.
Right. But my circumstances weren't common. The circumstances surrounding my divorce weren't common. But I do also understand that I needed to she has me to see the pitfalls the blind spots that she can't see, to help her through her marriage. I think as parents, we are so stuck on keeping our children young that we don't give them enough guidance in their decisions. So when she came to me and said, Mom, I met this boy in college, at first I was like, well, I think you should focus on school, but she was determined to date him. So I supported her on that and guided her on that, because in the end, I did raise her to
with
be
or
a
without your blessing.
I gave her my blessing.
Okay. Because I got a theory on where fathers, it should be where parents should vet their daughters. Because we leaving up to young girls to their own devices on picking the men, and they're doing bad. They were doing a bad decision on picking them. You know what I'm saying? Let's just keep it 100.
Yeah, she would have never dated someone I wouldn't approve of.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah. Never dated
all right. Go ahead.
Continue. So, but I guided her through that relationship, and I raised her to be a wife. So now that she's coming to me and saying, Mom, we're ready to move to the next step in our relationship, I want to be a wife, the wife that you taught me. So I'm like, it makes no sense for me to say, well, you need to hold off until you guys are more financially solvent, when marriage isn't about finances. Marriage is about duty. Marriage is about respect. And hey, if she's going to end up having kids, I'd rather her have kids while she's married, right? If she's going to end up having sex, I'd rather her do it while she's in a marriage, versus her being out here and getting caught up. And then next thing you know, you have a host of problems that she has to deal with. So now that they're ready to move to the next step, I'm going to support that, because that's what I raised her to be. I raised her to be a wife. And obviously he was raised to be a husband. So are they ready completely? Absolutely not. No one is fully ready at that age, but that's where parents and family is supposed to step in and help the young couple get through the hard parts, get through the difficulties, and just guide them through their marriage.
Professor D. Woods, I see your expression. What did something just hit you? You're on mute. You muted yourself. It says that you muted yourself. Hit the mute button on the screen. Hold on. Let me try. Let me see. Yeah, it says that you muted yourself. So you got to hit the button, D Woods.
He may have to come out and go back in.
D Woods, shut it down and come back. I'll bring you up.
Yeah.
Anybody have a response to Letitia?
I love what Letitia said. Everything she said. I love everything she said. And I do believe, though, that it is somewhat idealistic in this day and age. The culture's moved away from this thinking. But it doesn't make it less true, what she's saying. And that's the issue, is that we've allowed the culture to dictate what the truth of what marriage is to us, rather than allowing what the covenant of marriage is. Let that dictate what the truth is. And I think that what she's saying in terms of the family support and all that is totally true. I think the whole idea about, and I think this is antithetical to what I think Professor Shannon, even what my experience is about this whole thing about finances. We need to have this much money, this much in our bag. I mean, you can do that. I'm not shutting that down.
Love don't pay the bills.
Can still end in divorce. They still end. So it's not about those things. I'm not saying it's bad to do that. I'm saying that if that is your emphasis, that is not divorce-proof your marriage. What divorce-proofs your marriage is what Letitia's talking about. And what I mentioned earlier about being committed to the covenant and the commitment to be together, and not the feeling of what, I feel and how much money I'm making. Because I can tell you, both my divorces prior, in my mind, were unnecessary. I'm grateful for them now because of the wife I have now. God's grace really was big in my life with the wife I have now. But the first two marriages should not have ended. They ended off of things that we're talking about. Unnecessary. They happened, but they were unnecessary.
Well, D Woods, you back?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So I think the question, let's go back to that. Like, what age should men start? Well, this is the thing. If you wait until you're 30, now you have no experience at actually filtering through the market. So you're going to be dating just as bad as if you were in your 20s. So I do think that a guy should start younger. Now, teens, I don't know. That's a little bit extreme for me, Letitia, but I'm actually closer to you on this point, right? So I'm thinking in your 20s, when you get yourself together, you should start, but it also is based off of what type of marriage you want. We got to break that down because it's not.
Oh, how many different marriages is there, D Woods? It ain't but one.
What you say?
How many marriages? How many variants do we have?
Yo, it's a bunch of variants, bro. We got a whole multiverse. Come on. So look, let's talk about it, right? So when we talk about the different types, I do understand a man providing, a man doing this, a man doing that. But a lot of your younger generations, especially with your women today, they want to be a part of that. Not all do, but some do. So when we paint this white fence, white for everything, we miss out on so many different types, and we also disallow people to have those unique experiences. So I think we got to figure out what it is. Another thing I hear people say is we got to wait. But people don't stop changing. You're going to change in your 20s. You're going to change in your 30s. You're going to change in your 40s. When you're 60s, guess what? You're going to change. You're going to have a midlife crisis, a late life crisis, an early life crisis. Your mama going to die. The grandma going to die. The baby might die. People change. So we can't age-proof change. So the best thing you can do is get out there, figure out exactly what you want. That's what people are going wrong. I don't even think, and I think it's outdated. We talk about love. I think that's kind of outdated in these dating generations. I don't think anybody, let me correct that. Most people, I would say, just to throw an arbitrary number, 80% of people are not looking for love. Tell me what you're looking for. I'm looking for love. We're gonna be hard to find somebody. They're looking for provision. They're looking for like views. They're looking for someone to take care of them. They're looking for somebody that's going to be faithful. They're looking for status. They're looking for money. So this idea that we're still out there looking for love, no, maybe sex, maybe feel good, maybe chemistry, but the love, I think that's kind of outdated. So we got to update our views and see what's going on out there.
Yeah, but I hear
go ahead, Miss Letitia.
I hear mostly men talking about where's the love? Why are women looking at our resources? Why aren't women saying they want love? I'm hearing mostly men have these conversations that
I'm telling men to stop saying that. Stop asking that damn question. But go ahead, Letitia.
No, I'm just saying I thought that was very odd. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with love. But your foundation shouldn't start with love. Your foundation should start with compatibility, and then you fall into love. Because if anybody's been married, there are times you're not going to like the person. You're not always going to like the person in your marriage. And when your foundation is built on love, or when you stop liking a person, that's when you're headed.
When they get on your damn nerves, then you sleeping in the other room. And that second bedroom be your go-to room after dinner, and you got a cold. I hear what you're saying.
But when you have compatibility, during those times you can fight through, you can work through. So there's
that's fleeting too, Letitia, don't you think? Even the compatibility, it can be fleeting if two people are going in different directions.
Yeah,
but if you're married, you should not be going in two different directions. That's the whole idea.
Right. But here's the thing, though, Paul.
That's the whole idea. That's the binder right there.
Got it. Go ahead, Cassius.
Yeah.
Cassius.
But that's what I think the problem is, right? Is think about what we all wanted at 22, 23, or 24. Right? Just for a second, hypothetically and rhetorically, think about what you wanted then. And think about what you want now or in your 30s. And I think it's problematic to Shannon's point, especially from a man's perspective, that you're right, that all of those compatibility issues are a problem. But I can tell you right now that if I would have got married at 24, 22, or 23, I would have been marrying for significantly different reasons than what I'm marrying for now. It just wouldn't have been, just my understanding of the world would have been different in regards to what does support look like from a woman for me. If you ask me what that looks like at 2023, I would have been told you it's hey, if I need you to let me use if I need you to let me use your car, I need you to let me use it. Hold on, let me hold your paycheck so I can flip it. Right? I'm kind of being exaggerative here to prove a point, but at 22, 23, 24, the type of support and encouragement and compatibility that I needed for my immature F-boy status level or whatever I was at that age is completely different than the type of things that I would want or need from a compatible woman in this space. So if I'm marrying at 23, 24, and I have these particular life views and goals in this direction, and then when I get 30, which is I think what happens most time, it may not happen at 30, but to Shan's point, late 20s, you marry in your early 20s thinking you know everything, thinking it's love. And then when you get 29 or 28, the person that you marry is the same person or hasn't grown at the same rate that you've grown. And then guess what? You outgrew each other. And then that compatibility don't hit like it used to, right? And then
I'm
you
just
start
not
saying,
happy.
where is the love, right? And because at that particular point, that's all you have left. Typically, when people have that conversation or start questioning where is the love, it's because compatibility is gone. It's because support is gone. It's because encouragement is gone. And you know what's funny is it wasn't gone when y'all first got married. All those things were there. Otherwise, you wouldn't have moved toward getting married. But what happened is that the man that I was, or sometimes woman, at 22 or 23, ain't the same. I know many. I grew up with a house full of women. My mom, her four sisters.
Cassius, real quick. But to D Wood's point, Cassius, you're still going to change at 30. You're going to change at 40. So what do you say to that?
So here's what I'm saying. I think the amount of change at 30 versus the amount of change at 22 is different. I would ask any man here, the older you got, the less you probably changed. So when you got to, let's say, for example, I imagine there's probably, and I'm going to try to quantify this, and it probably won't hit perfectly, but from 20 to 30, you probably changed 100 ways. But from 30 to 40, you probably only changed 15 or 20.
Yeah, you only turn left a little bit. You didn't turn all the way around.
Let me put it this way. And Carl,
Change has changed to me. Change has changed to me.
Listen, I want to first to Carl because I think he may be the most seasoned panelist on this group, right? But it makes me think, and I'm about to go back a little bit. It makes me think about Sam Cooke, right? Sam Cooke was interviewed, one of my favorite artists, and he talked about as he got older as an artist, what changes. It's not the fact that you're changing, but you're getting a deeper level of yourself.
Yes.
And when you get to different layers of those foundations, bro, you got rocks, you got, salt deposits, you got all of these different things that can make a change as you start to get deeper. So, those changes might end up in ending a marriage. Now, this is what I want to focus on really quick though, right? When you were in your 20s, were you exposing yourself to programs or knowledge like this in your 20s?
I wasn't.
Right. So I feel like what we should be doing is for the individuals that are watching us, those individuals, we should be targeting them.
Yeah. Because
those could be like Shannon was saying, the Doogie houses out there. We want to create more Doogie houses. Now, I might be wrong, but the reason for husband school is to get more Doogie houses and get more people in order, right? So if we're getting those people in order and we're doing our jobs, you got play in 20s. You got guys out there in their 20s, but you better know what the hell you talking about. You better know what you're doing. You better read the fine print. But Carl, I want to just hear you talk on it just for a second, man. You've experienced more than I think we all have in the panel, but talk to us about those levels of changes going from decade to decade. Is it like fundamental changes? Is it, what's happening?
Is it core change? Did you do some core changes?
I don't think it's core changes. I think that someone just said it. This is kind of the evolution of yourself. You kind of go deeper in knowledge about who you are, how you respond to circumstances and adversity and things like that, and even where you want to go. You just kind of become more confirmed in who you are. And I would submit, I've been married 8 years to my third wife. And I've changed since I married her. And I married her when I was, 55 or 56, And I've changed, although I would admit that's probably less change than it was when I was from my 20 to 30 to Cassius' point. But I do think, and I think, let me say this about what Professor Letitia said. She said she trained her daughter on how to be a wife.
I caught that.
That is so key to this discussion because I think while we have this discussion about all these other different things that are really fueled by the culture and then said not by the family of what she did with her daughter, and what I suspect her daughter's fiance was trained by his family. That's what's missing. So now we're discussing all these other things, and they kind of fall short, which is why we have such a high divorce rate. My parents were well intended, but I wasn't.
I hope that he's not a good actor You know, because he's only going because Letitia is only going to see from her future son-in-law what he shows.
Yeah.
And so we pray that he's keeping it 100, but
we'll find out.
I'm the betting queen. Okay, I'm the betting queen. No one can get.
He can't get nothing past you, Tish. He can't get nothing past you.
Well, the thing is that she has high self-awareness. I raised her to know who she is. I started with her young to understand who she was and what she wanted and why she wanted it. He also has high self-awareness, but he didn't have it as much as she had when they first got together. But in him being with her, he learned a lot about himself and what he wanted. And she leaned heavily on me on how to navigate the difficulties in their relationship, because it's not always going to be perfect. It's not a bed of roses, and I'm sure their marriage is not going to be perfect. But again, I stress family is important to the dynamic. I made sure that when they were getting serious, her father and I, and my mother's part of this process too, my sister, her aunts, and his family, we all met and had dinner together. We all met and had dinner together. And when I saw how they
that's not normal. That's not normal by itself.
That's rare these days.
But that's key though to their success. And you're right, it's not normal. But that's why.
Just like when we were growing, I was growing up in the transition stage where you used to still have to go to her house and come in the house and meet her folks before you went on a date. Now, when you think about the last time that's happened, right? So go ahead.
My mother was the same way. She wanted to meet whoever we were dating, but when we met, we had dinner, and I saw how his family loved and cherished my daughter. How he loved and cherished my daughter. Cherishing was very important to me. Seeing how they embraced her was very, very important to me. So that let me know that not only do they have me to lean on, but they also have his family to lean on. His mother, his father, and lots of blended families there. But they have the families to lean back on. So I think that's also what makes them very, very comfortable with the idea that we can move forward. They can move forward in this step. I mean, there's another factor. They're young. They're both virgins. And I think that they're ready to have sex.
I know he is.
They're ready to have sex, but they also love each other. She has a high respect for him, and he cherishes and adores her. From the moment he approached her, when she told me about their approach, I told her, I said, this is the one. The boy she was dating in high school, I didn't care for him. I didn't like him. And when I told her it needed to end, it needed to end. He came from a good family, good background. They just weren't compatible. And I told her that needed to end. This one, I said, this is the one for you. So she trusts my judgment. I trust her judgment because she knows who she is. She knows what she wants. I think, speaking to D Woods and Carl, self-awareness is key. And we don't teach our children to become self-aware. We let them just linger out in the world and figure it out for themselves. And the guidance that we try to give them is based on our own personal experience and what we would like for them. But we never really guide them into becoming who they truly want to be. I started working with my daughter when she was, I think, 13. And I'm working with my nieces and my nephew. It's a little bit harder with my nephew, even though they have two parents. But I feel that as an auntie, that it is important for me to step in and guide them through their dating process as well.
See, Professor Letitia is one of them helicopter parents, y'all.
I love it though.
She the one yelling at the coach when she go down she jump on the field, be hollering at the referee.
I love it.
I have never done that. Never done that. Listen, I was that parent, but my daughter, she had to check me on that. She was like, I don't need you to hem me. I was like, what? What is that? She's like, I don't need you hovering over me all the time. You raised me to be who I am, and these are the decisions that I want to make, and trust me that I'm going to make the best decisions, and I'm not going to be out here making crazy decisions. And as I saw her get older, I'm proud to say she's grown into a wonderful young lady.
Yeah. What's your final thoughts, Professor D. Woods?
Man, I wish we all had moms like that. I think it would save us a lot of time if we had family that were given. And I would say if you don't, Because let's be honest, a lot of people don't. You got to get this knowledge, man. So stay tuned in to husband school. Stay tuned in to wife school. Get that knowledge because it's here. It's available. You don't want to perish because you have lack of knowledge, especially when it's readily available. And we not charge you for this, Shannon. So they gotta get it. Now we still want the super chats and we still want the comments and everything else, the subscriptions. But
free.
Man, it's free. Sit down.
How do you comment? Someone asked me a question. I can't even comment. How do you comment?
Free game.
Yeah, it's
Professor Carl, the comments should be on the screen. It should be an option.
I see them, but I can't comment back though.
No, he has to go actual YouTube channel.
Yeah, you gotta create your YouTube account. I don't know if you have it or you have to have it connected somehow. But we'll work it out. Don't worry. This is episode 1. We're gonna work out all the details.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But real quick, Professor Carl, your final thoughts on how men should be when they start thinking marriage minded.
I'm just blown away by what Professor Letitia talked about, because I thought that was over in this day and age. But I will say this is my thought. One of the biggest regrets that I have is divorcing my first wife, because we had 2 children. And I do believe that my voice and influence was disrupted when that divorce happened, to be able to model the things that you're talking about to my children, because it was between me and them and their mother, and then I remarried. The second wife was kind of a terrorist. So it just didn't really, and as a result, everything that I'm getting now, my daughter's 34. She just got married 2 weeks ago. And the one thing I noticed is that he cherishes my daughter, and his family loves my daughter. And that made me feel really good in spite of my misstep. So I would just say that's all I have. But thank you for having me, bro.
No problem. Professor Cassius, I think we're lockstep, Professor Cassius, on this one. What's your thoughts on men in their age?
In an ideal world, we would have 2 parents that have a similar mindset that Professor Letitia has, right? They're heavily invested in developing their children to make sound decisions and proper inferences when mom and dad aren't there. But unfortunately, that's not the norm in our culture, nor specifically, just generally, right? So because of that, I think men and women are ill-equipped at an early age to do the things they need to do in a marriage, which is why I'm a proponent of the men need that life experience. And I think it takes about a decade to get that life experience that we should be learning through having great parents that unfortunately I think we don't have as much of. We all talked about how Letitia was like an exception to the rule. So I'll end with just saying that if we had parents that were as invested as Professor Letitia, then yeah, I think the idea of 18, 19, 20 go right ahead. Since we don't, I think men need that seasoning, that 10 years to really understand what it means to be a man and then to lead a woman. Not control, not possess, but lead a woman.
Got it. Ladies and gentlemen, fellas, gentlemen particularly, wait till you get older. Shout out to all my esteemed professors, but wait till you get older. Trust your boy Shan. You're gonna look better. You're gonna be stronger. You're gonna have that grown man strength.
A big bag.
You're gonna have that grown man strength. You're gonna have life insurance, brothers. You don't have life insurance when you're 22. You don't even think about it. You ain't caring about that. But you're gonna have life insurance when you're 32. You're gonna be thinking about that, and you're gonna want kids. And my goal is to get you young brothers prepped so you have that condo by the time you're 35. I appreciate everybody being here. I'm Mr. Shan. Remember, the serpent attacked relationships as his very first attack in Genesis. Don't just plan your wedding, fellas. Plan your entire marriage, and being married isn't enough. You need to be a husband. I appreciate you guys. Tap in next week to the same time, same bad channel right here. We'll have Husband School again, 1 hour show. I appreciate you guys being here. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time. That was a good talk. The mics are still hot. Everybody can hear you guys. Wait, I got you guys on mute. Let me unmute you. There we go.
That was good. I appreciate you bringing me aboard. This is going to be good.
Yeah,
It's going to be good.
Yeah, for sure. Let's fire up. What you was getting ready to say, Letitia?
I was going to say, you realize that age gap dating is pretty low.
Stuck in the past watching videos of us.
It's hard to hear you. I gotta adjust my level.
The music is playing. There you go.
Yeah, the music, and everybody can hear us. By the way, this is just the outro. But we'll talk about it on the back end, you guys. I'll catch you on the back end. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you everybody for tuning in to Husband School. We will see you next week. Talk to you soon.
Let my guard down for you. Baby, why'd you have to love me like that? I gave you my heart and you tore it apart. Don't know why you had to hurt me like that. Cause now I'm messed up, drinking non-stop, just trying to forget you and everything we said. But I can't seem to get these thoughts out of my head. Baby, why'd you have to love me like that? Love me like that. Oh, staying inside in my bed all day long, listening to sad songs and feeling so low, thinking about you and where we went wrong. 'Cause I wanna know why you let me go. Thought I was more than a body to hold, baby. I wanted you, wanted us to be something more. I was so sure, I let my guard down for you. Baby, why'd you have to love me like that? I gave you my heart, you tore it apart. Don't know why you had to hurt me like that. Cause now I'm messed up, drinking non-stop, just trying to forget you and everything we said. But I can't seem to get these thoughts out of my head. Baby, why'd you have to love me like that? Love me like that. Oh, thought I was more than a body to hold, baby. I wanted you, wanted us to be something more. I was so sure, let my guard down for you. Baby, why'd you have to love me like that? I gave you my heart and you tore it apart. Don't know why you had to hurt me like that. Cause now I'm messed up, drinking non-stop, just trying to forget you and everything we said. But I can't seem to get these thoughts out of my head. Baby, why'd you have to love me like that? Love me like